everybody. Welcome to Open the Gates. I'm your host, Matt Burke. Tonight we're going to be having on Russ Leach. He's going to be talking about his book, The Shadow Kingdom. If you guys give a warm welcome to Russ, that would be awesome. What's up, man? How you doing?
Great, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, it's been a while, man. How's the weather over there in that
It's
side?
just starting to brighten up. We got into April and the rain stopped. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, we're like kind of going in and out of rain over here. It's probably been like, I guess it's been the rainiest year in California. They had floods down in San Diego. Right. Yeah, I've been a little under the weather the last couple of days. Stayed home from work, so just kind of getting back in the swing of things. But
getting better though, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just sometimes you just need like an extra day to rest. That's all it takes. But yeah, man, I do a little concoction. My wife, we do is we cut like onions and potatoes, and I'll put them in my socks, and then that absorbs a lot of the bacteria and
really,
toxin things from your body, and then we'll leave them in the room, and it just kind of just absorbs all that nasty crap and really helps sometimes. It's an old Mexican trick.
Right, I didn't know that. I have to try it.
Yeah, kind of stinky, but it works really good. Cool. Yeah, that, and then we do a turmeric, honey, garlic, and ginger. Kind of mash that together, and then hot water. So I take a spoon of that hot water and just kind of lights you up. Again, stinky, but it's not behind the counter or over the counter or under the counter. It's a little more organic, I guess you'd say.
Natural. Yeah.
So I've learned, we've known each other for a minute, man. I think this is the first time we've ever streamed it together that I can remember.
I think we did stream together at once when you had your first book out, I think. But that was a while ago. I've had 2 only deaths since then. Are you on your second or your third book now?
I'm on my third book now.
Third, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. Was it? I'm thinking maybe it was like whose show was it? Maybe it was like Rot 10 or something like that.
I don't know. I've been asleep since then several times.
Yeah, man, it's hard to remember, man. But I could have swore like maybe we did or we didn't, but
I'm sure we did. I'm sure we did. Yeah,
right.
We bumped into each other. Actually, may even have been a couple of times on other people's shows where we were both guesting. Yeah,
that's cool, man. And man, like I've known who you are. Obviously, we've been on shows, and for those who don't know who you are, and for people watching, maybe some people might not know. Maybe if you want to give a little, talk a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Right. Yeah, sure. My name's Russ Leach. I'm a comic book artist from the UK. I've been in production, design, all kinds of stupid stuff in publishing for an awful long time. And in 2010, I business changed and I came back to something that I loved, which is comic book art. So I started from there, did some indie stuff. 2015, nice. I got to do my first pro gig, as it was, for Doctor Who. Did some stuff, did more stuff for Doctor Who, stuff for Marvel. Did some Warner Brothers stuff on Ben 10. Then I picked up some Batman work for Europe year before last, and that lasted a year. Also did a long run on Doctor Who. I did a year's run on Doctor Who magazine. In between, did lots of indie work. A lot of work for Unstoppable Comics. They're great. Love Unstoppable. Hail out of New York. That's JD Rosario. And also ended up working with Randy Zimmerman over at Arrow. And came up with my own 2 graphic novels, Only Death Can Save Us 1 and 2. Third one is in the writer's room now. And we just decided to do The Shadow Kingdom recently, which is public domain, Robert E. Howard, Cull the Conqueror. So that's the really concise, short version.
Oh yeah, very very
bore the audience.
Crunched up. When you were as a kid, man, what really got you into comic books, man? Like what was the thing that lit the comic book itch or bug or what have you?
Yeah, the first comic book I can remember was Stalker by DC. I think that was I think it was Wally Wood and Ditko, maybe. I can't remember exactly. And that was the first I remember copying out of that and being enthralled by it. And then the first one I bought with my own money So I obviously had a few others in between, but the first one I bought with my own money was Captain Britain Weekly, and in that it had reprints of Steranko's Nick Fury, Agent of Shield, and Fantastic Four by Buscema and Sinnott, and the whole thing together just that caught me really. At the same time, we had a magazine called 2000 AD,
Yeah.
yeah, which was yeah very subversive, very subversive. Came out of punk,
Yeah, right.
and just what was going on. A lot of those guys ended up being in DC and Marvel, and that it was just brilliant. That's where Judge Dredd started, and Strontium Dog, things like that. So yeah, I was picking up that, then started on the Spider-Man, and obviously Batman as well. That was the thing, and I can remember even at a very tender age before. Yeah, I won't dox my age, but it was a long time ago. I remember as a boy buying Savage Sword of Conan,
Yeah.
and that completely enthralled me as well. I've managed to pick up a few of those issues.
It's always nice to get them, right? The big ones.
Yeah,
I remember a buddy at work from my last job just gave me one and was like, "Oh, hell yeah," and I just like read it right there.
And that was the first one I got. That one.
Yeah.
And
Love
that
it,
was, man. I'm never very good at remembering the title, so I'm glad it's here.
Me neither.
Iron Shadows in the Moon. Oh, there you go. There's a Buscema and Alcala splash page to die for. There you go.
Dude, they just had like the best art in there, man. They really did.
Superb. And the stuff that I've done for Cull the Conqueror, which you also got Cull the Conqueror in those magazines as well.
Yeah.
The guy that I write with on Only Death said that it had a bit of a Buscema, Ernie Chan vibe to it. So I was completely humbled by that. But it was where I was going with it. It's where I wanted to be with the art. So I would say those things somewhere in between them all. So the Captain Britain thing was my first thing that I bought on my own that I got every week or whenever you could with the state of distribution back then. And that it flooded it out into, like Buscema and Sinnott's Fantastic Four, Steranko's Agent of Shield, Nick Fury. That again stylistically was really big effect on me. And the Conan books at the same time. It was kind of a wall of comic book art and comic book stories that completely encaptured me, and that was it. I got the bug from then on.
What was your take on the John Millis Conan the Barbarian movie? What did you like that movie?
Which one's that? Is that the
first one?
The first one. That's the Conan. That's the Schwarzenegger one.
Yeah, the first one.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I've got it on DVD. So
yeah, it's my favorite movie. That one, RoboCop and Coppola's Dracula, they're all tied. Favorite movie.
Yeah, that Dracula film. That was 94, 95 or something.
Yeah.
What an amazing film that is. And
Smoke
Gary
and Mirrors.
Oldman.
All the smoke and mirrors in there, all the little gag tricks from the
brilliant
turn of the century.
Stuff. Yeah. The Schwarzenegger's take on it.
More of a Cole story, but oh man,
it was basically a Cole story, I think.
But I love it,
But yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and it was just it was good cinema. Do you know what I mean? It was impactful and fun.
Always like,
and
whenever it's on, I'm like, okay, Conan's on.
Yeah. Everything about it was great. And of course, Arnie was sort of coming up to the peak of his powers.
Oh yeah, right.
As an actor,
pumping iron. I don't drink milk. I drink beer. Milk's for babies. Yeah, love that.
Love that film. Really good. The one that was out about 10 years ago with Aquaman in it.
Yeah.
It's. I think if you'd never had the Arnold Schwarzenegger film, maybe it would have been okay.
Yeah,
but it kind of lost itself. I wasn't really that. In fact, I think I preferred the Kevin Sorbo 90s Cull the Conqueror film.
Yeah, dude, I've never seen that, bro. I gotta watch. And I loved Hercules and Xena. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I watched it as a kid, and its charm was great. But yeah, that movie, man. I even the director, like, it was weird because I was following that movie. He did a movie called Pathfinder, which was very Frazetta-esque in some of the scenes that were shot. and they were developing the graphic novel Pathfinder with that movie at the same time, sympathetically, you know. And I was like, man, that guy, he should direct Conan. And then boom, they get him to direct Conan. Then you look in the movie, it's got like 16 rewrites and 16 producers, and they're rewriting the movie on set, and they get a cool actor to play Conan that kind of looks like this, you know, Atlantean guy, you know what I mean, which is Polynesian, and it kind of worked, and he's Irish and Polynesian, which Conan's kind of Atlantean but Nordic, and it just kind of worked out good, and he could throw the sword around, and all these things are lining up. But then the movie came out, and it was just like, they got Stephen Lang from Avatar and Tombstone playing the villain with a rubber nose. He looks good, and you know, he's great in there with a sword. I was really disappointed with that movie, but I thought that the casting was pretty cool for most parts.
Yeah, it had promise, had real promise.
It did, dude.
But I think, it messed up.
There's plenty of room for Conan and it's a lot of Howard's characters. Back to when you're getting into comics, who were some of your influences as far as, you know, artistically and maybe even writers wise too?
Writers. Really, the only writer on the block was Stan Lee. It wasn't that he was my favorite writer. He was just the person that was ubiquitous at the time. He was everywhere.
I'm everywhere.
You know, I probably the only ones I got into with the Batman would that have been Denny O'Neil at the time?
I think so at that time.
So all that Batman stuff, I love the Neil Adams work in there.
Yeah.
And the way that they presented Batman at that time, I thought was perfect.
Yeah.
Again, I got a whole bunch of back issue stuff for that. But I would say biggest influences would have to be Buscema, Joe Sinnott, Steranko, and Starlin.
Nice.
I love the Warlock stuff and the Cosmic Cube and the Thanos, everything about that. I just loved all that stuff. And that had a big effect on Only Death Can Save Us as far as the story is concerned. I think probably Starlin had the biggest
I was going to
effect.
say, yeah, definitely, man. Are you going to do a third book for that?
Yeah, third book's in the writing room now. So I'm waiting on a script.
You got to come back on, man, for Death, man. We could do a dive on that, you know?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I've enjoyed the Books. I've got an idea. It's a trilogy. It'll end in this third book. I do have ideas for another trilogy,
good.
Or even even an ongoing. But there's only so much for me to spread around, and
right.
At the moment, I'm quite sort of keen on doing more of the Cull work. So this book at the moment, the Shadow Kingdom, is a one and done. It's like the story's there and you finished it off, but it leads you into the an open-ended sort of opportunity to do more original work. So Randy's going to write some original work based on Robert E. Howard's characters, obviously with Robert E. Howard in mind. Very much we're going to be true to the characters, and we're going to take Cull and Brawl the Spear Slayer. We're going to take the two of them on the road. They're going to be in disguise. They're going to be looking for the rest of the Shadow Kingdom. The Shadow Kingdom is effectively the lizards the lizard men that mask their faces and that keep control of the human race by being sneaky about it, which is a bit like it is today, really. And we'll take them on the road, and it's then from then on, it will be tits and dragons. It will be full on sword and sorcery.
Robert
E.
Howard.
Robert E. Howard, full on fun, and we're going to call that the Atlantean.
Oh yeah.
So much like Ablaze, I think it was Ablaze, did the Chimerian.
Oh
Cimmerian,
yeah.
Sorry,
over in France, right?
In Europe, yeah, because they couldn't use the name Conan, even though Conan was in public domain. Conan, the name, is probably copywritten and all kinds of stuff, and it's the same with Cull, especially Cull the Conqueror, because of the movie in the 90s.
Yeah.
So you can't make your stuff look like anything that's come before, like from Marvel or the movies or anything like that, but you can do your version of the public domain character. So that's what we're going to do, and we're going to have some fun with it. In between that, I've got a job on at the moment. I've got Only Death Can Save Us 3, and I've got an issue of I've got an issue to do for Alterna Comics.
Ooh, nice.
For I've forgotten the name of the title because it's the middle of the night and I'm old.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knows the book. Everybody knows the book.
King Cryptid, maybe.
That's the one, King Cryptid. Yes,
Yeah, I
thank
love
you very
that
much
King
for
Cryptid,
saving me there. Yeah, King Cryptid, which I'm really looking forward to. I've done some sketches for Pete already, and I'm really looking. He's told me what the story is, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I think I'll be doing that in June. So yeah, I'm full up. So I'd love to do another series of Only Death Can Save Us, but it's just timing. So
Yeah, you got to clone yourself, right? Because I was gonna say like that world, because you had that like expansion a little bit in the second campaign. The world's so much like you could build with that. Like you could make multiple comics like for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's
that's the
stuff
type
in
of
there.
world it is.
Yeah,
It's galactic
yeah,
size. You know?
and it's definitely Stalin that's the biggest influence on me there. So yeah, I would say sort of Stalin is the biggest influence as far as storytelling is concerned. But then you've got would it have been Roy Thomas?
Roy Thomas was a big
Yeah.
guy
So
doing Conan back then, I think.
Conan, yeah, I think it would have been. No, it's not. Doesn't say in here specifically, but then any of the people that were adapting the Conan stuff would have been affecting me as well. But it was mainly art for me. You know what it's like being an artist. It's a visual medium. It's mostly the art.
Yeah.
So it would have been Buscema, really. But John Buscema, bit of Sal Buscema. Steranko had a big effect because his styling, and it was only later that when I matured a bit and grew up a bit, that I started to appreciate people like Kirby.
Oh yeah, same
and
here.
A lot of people have that Kirby moment.
Yeah.
And when I had my Kirby moment, which was quite late on, it suddenly it made a big difference to my artwork because I suddenly started appreciating a lot more art that I would not have appreciated as a young boy or a young man even. And it meant that I could open my own style up. I could start being freer with myself.
Yeah.
Simply because I was able to appreciate a wider range of input. So yeah. So around the answer would be Buscema, Neil Adams.
Neil Adams, hell yeah.
Those kind of artists.
Even up to his end.
Sorry?
Even up to the end before he passed, man. Like this Dead Man stuff, like the
Just
little like gags he was doing, like with the covers, glow in the dark, you turned it upside down. Just really thinking outside the box. He had a really cool interview with Kevin Smith before Kevin Smith kind of changed Batman on Batman. I can't find it anywhere though. I just wanted to listen to it, like hear his whole story. But yeah, he's awesome.
Always innovative, and that was his shtick. That was what he was great at, I mean, but I ended up kind of having a bit of a love affair with Mike Mignola as well, as far as his artwork was concerned.
It was him and Simonson that got me into Kirby because like they're both Kirby-esque, but they're both iconoclasts. You know,
and and being able to appreciate that wider range meant that you could look at those great artists, and even though your work wasn't necessarily inspired by them or had any of them in it, because we've all got like a family tree of the people that have inspired us, and it's like you could never look at my work and go, oh, it's a bit Miller, or that's a bit Mignola. It just isn't. It just isn't that way inclined. But to be able to appreciate that artwork means that you can build on your own style. You're freer to do something with yourself because you're appreciating a wider range.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like bringing in all those influences really could shape. You take this from that person and that from that person. And I think that's cool. And then eventually, your style will bleed through.
You've got to be you. Yeah, I mean,
totally.
At the moment, is it Rob DeTore is doing great work on Conan, and he's definitely channeling Buscema.
So what's your take on the new series? What are you thinking about this whole new thing? I mean, I was going to get into that. The whole new revamp with Titan. What's your thought on this whole Howard verse that they're doing? In general,
so far they're doing a reasonably good job. like I say, Rob DeTore is channeling Buscema to a degree.
100%.
I think he is by far and away the best artist on all of the books.
Me too.
And that's, when I say channeling Buscema, sometimes you can look at it and go, wow, is that a Buscema piece? And if you'd have, I've said this before, if you'd have asked me 10 years ago, you can draw exactly like Buscema, but, chop your left arm off, I'd have taken it. And as much as I do truly appreciate what Torre is doing, then you can see himself in it. I now appreciate the idea of style being very unique, being particular to yourself. So I wouldn't want to be that anymore. Mm-hmm. So Buscema, Chan, Alcala, you couldn't look at my work and look at Alcala's and go, oh, well, that's similar. It's like, it's not, but it has an input, it has an effect. We're all standing on the shoulders of giants. So all these influences go in to make me, but at the same time, it's you that has to come out at the end. And I wouldn't want people to mix me up with someone else. I'd want people to look at it and go, that's Russ Leach.
I think I could pretty much spot your work now, because I've seen you do a bunch of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a Russ Leach piece.
Yeah.
I've seen you do, I've gotten like prints that you've done from campaigns I've backed. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's Russ Leach. I've seen some Batman stuff, and yeah, I could, and a lot of people talk about now, which I do agree with, like when you're starting out for the newbie artists, like it's cool if you're like kind of copying someone's style, you like them, you know what I mean? That's your shit. You know what I mean? You're doing a couple things, I like this guy's hands, this guy's shoulders, this guy's triceps, this dude's noses, this guy's eyes, this guy's biceps. You know what I mean? Okay, you're drawing all that stuff, and eventually, no matter what, if you keep at it, you're going to come through. And you're not going to look like them, but you have to stick at it. It's going to happen, but you're going to come through, and it's fine to do that. Me, like a couple years ago, I'm like, nah, don't do that. Don't do that. Now I'm like, I embrace that. Do that. Yeah. Because you will come through no matter what. That's my opinion,
Oh, yeah. Everybody's got a different path, and we're all a work in progress. It never stops. That's the point.
Never.
So you're always building on that last piece and going, I can do better than that next time.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
And that's what makes it magic. It's a self-improvement thing. That's why I call myself Comic Book Black Belt on the YouTube channel. I practiced martial arts, and
oh, hell yeah.
When you get that first black belt you get, up until that black belt, what you're doing is you're forcing your body to do things that it's not wanting to do. You're learning the basics, the literally the foundation of how to, produce that martial art. And then once you've got your black belts, you move up the range of black belts. You're then adapting the art to you, and every black belt has a unique martial art, because it's all about their body and what it can do, their skill sets, what they're great at. And it's the same with comic book art. You have to learn the basics. You have to understand scene setting. You have to understand anatomy, figure drawing, which are two different things, anatomy and figure drawing. Yeah. Weight and posture. Storytelling is the most important thing in sequential art. So you learn all these basics, okay, and you stick to them, and then you see the masters. You see people like Buscema, okay? You see people like Stalin, and they're stretching people, pushing figures about, cheating, because they know the basics. Yeah. And so they're making the art themselves, and that's where their style comes through, and they become unique, okay? And you can spot them at 100 miles. That's a Stalin, that's a Neil Adams, whatever. You can pick those people out, and so I see that similarity, which is why I make that I made that name. But that's what you're trying to do all the time. You're trying to communicate through your stories, ideas and concepts, but at the same time, you're trying to communicate yourself through your style, through your art, and it's tricky because obviously you have to adapt. So, for instance, my Batman work was quite sort of. It had to be a little bit more cartoony. It was sort of a golden age-ish kind of thing. Yeah. Because it was a kid's book, and they wanted that kind of look. And then I do my Cull stuff, and it's it's more detail heavy. It's got rendering in it. It's and it's more heavy, more illustrative, as it were. Yeah. But still underneath, there's always you coming through.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. For some of your process, man, like when you're doing thumbnails, do you? Well, first of all. Do you do all digital, or do you do traditional, or a combination of both? What's your?
It's a combination. It's a weird combination. Most people come to it from one way, so they start off traditional, end up digital. I, as I mentioned before, I'd been in publishing and the design industry for 25, 30 years before I came back to comic book illustration. So I was used to using Macintosh PC, used to using a Wacom screen. You know, it was just something that I did. So that when I decided I was going to draw, it made perfect sense to just do it all digitally, which is what I did. I used to draw comic book pages mid-90s. I submitted to Marvel and got a positive result, but never ended up getting any work. Had a mortgage, so ended up carrying on doing the job I was doing. But at that time, in fact, at that time, I got accepted through the New Talent Scout because I was drawing a bit like Jim Lee. I was trying to be Jim Lee at the time, as everybody was. And I wouldn't have been comfortable with that. So I was glad that didn't happen in the end, actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, that aside, I was used to drawing on a board with a light box. You know, like, so you'd sketch stuff out, you'd do your thumbnails, you'd blow them up on a photocopier, stick them on the light box, trace over, you know, or use them as a base for your sketch work. So that was the way I worked. So there I am, 2010, 2015, and everything's digital. Also, I was scared stiff of inking in the real world.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, man.
It's scary stuff. So I did all my first 2 years of Doctor Who, my 4 years on the Marvel book, which I wish I'd done traditionally. I did that all digital. But what I did, I learned quite quickly, because I was doing work quite rapidly. I learned quite quickly where I was spotting as far as blacks were concerned, but also how my style started to develop. And then when I did the first Only Death Can Save Us, I wanted to have some physical artwork to sell on the campaign trail.
Right. It's always good.
It helps, you know?
Yeah.
So I did it and found myself completely falling in love with the inking process.
Yeah.
By then, we had great pens like these brush pens. These are bloody superb.
Okay.
The Pentel ones. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I use that all the time.
Yeah. So I don't have to have a brush in my hand. I can use these. Okay.
Yeah.
They're almost as good as a brush, but you don't have to worry about loading them up with ink and all that kind of stuff. So I had loads of great new tools. And then over the past couple of years, I've also learned that it doesn't matter whether you're drawing with a biro or whether you're drawing with a felt tip pen. As long as you get what you want out of it, it doesn't matter. I watch videos of like Cuba inking and what have you, and he uses any tool he can get hold of in order to make the work. So anyway, that ends up in a process whereby I pencil digitally through Clip Studio. I don't use all the bells and whistles on it. I just use it as a digital light box, effectively. And it means that I don't have to draw thumbnails. I can draw everything at the size I want. I can, up and down, zoom in and out, whatever I want. Once I've got it the way I want it, I pump it out to blue line. There we go. There's one up here. And then I ink it traditionally.
Nice.
With pen and ink.
That's badass.
So it means that I've got stuff to sell.
Yeah.
And also, there's a personal opinion. I have drawn both with digital now and with traditional. I prefer the traditional. I think it's got a little bit more life to it. It's just a personal opinion. There's nothing wrong with digital inking. The only thing I find wrong with digital inking is you don't have something physical to sell at the end of it. It's the only downside. But for me, I think my work has a little bit more vibrancy because I'm using, traditional methods at the end of the process.
Yeah, I think for me, it would come down to like, do you want to have more like a bigger body of work, or do you want to have more original art? And I think that could be for some artists, But I think for digital, you could find a way to get it more stuff. It's a little quicker, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Although, hello, Brian.
Cheers,
Brian,
sir. What's up, Russ?
Lovely to see you.
What's up,
Lovely
brother?
to see you too, sir. And back the book. Cannot wait to check it out because I am a Robert E. Howard stan, and down knows that Cull is cooler than Conan. And that's not a diss on Conan. But Cull is just is just the much cooler character. Now, Solomon Kane's better than both of them. But Cull is a close second.
They're all canonically related as well.
Yes.
Apparently. So, I find that really interesting.
For sure. I would love to see them do like a Robert E. Howard universe, Edgar Rice Burroughs shared universe, like the Marvel movies, but like good.
That's the one. Yeah.
that actually reminds me, like, it brings me to the question, you could pick why Cole and why this Cole story did you want to start with this?
Right. This one's the one that's in public domain. Okay, there's 3 of them. There's 3 pieces of prose that are in public domain. This is the first one. The premise of the Shadow Kingdom of the lizard race that are in the background of men's politics, that was extremely interesting. The whole project came about by accident because Randy's a big fan, and I've loved Cull and Conan comics. Solomon Kane, I found out later on, was by the same writer, and everything else that he'd done and how expansive the work that he'd produced before he came to an untimely demise. Anyway, we were literally just chit-chatting before a show. We do a show on a Friday morning called Comics by Night, and we look through old books. We look at older, classic artwork and classic storytelling. And we just happened to be chatting about it, and he said, "Well, you do know they're all in public domain, don't you?" I'm like, "No." so he said, "Oh yeah, these." So we had a prolonged back and forth for a day or two, and then we decided. Well, I just said, "Well, adapt the script. I want to do it. Let's do it now."
Nice.
And that was it. So
that was that, huh?
It just happened. Last year for me and close family was all over the place because we had a relative die, and it's these things happen, and it created an environment where I was my wife was also, she was staying with her father for the last 6 months of his life, and so it just created an environment where I wasn't able necessarily to pitch up and do pages for somebody else. It just wasn't working. So I had that project, and that's the project that came out of it. For all kinds of different reasons, but now once I got my teeth into it, I completely fell in love with the process, and that's why I effectively strong-armed Randy and said, "Right, we're going to do some more of this," and forced him into saying, "Yes, okay, I'll do it, Russ, I'll do it." So the idea is that we get the first book going. What I'd love to do is I'd love to do a quarterly 48-page black and white. That's what I'd love to do. But of course,
I would take that.
But we all know that isn't going to happen. I'll that's what we'll attempt. And the first one, Randy will write. He's in the process of writing it for me now. So we'll do that first one, and then maybe we'll talk about guest writers as we move on. So that's the plan. Anyway, that's the plan.
So Russ, if I may, I have a problem. I come into like Matt's show, and then suddenly Matt doesn't get a chance to talk. I'm like Robert E. Howard stan, right? There's something about that story, the Shadow Kingdom, which I've read and which I think which has been adapted in comics before. And that is the really great thing about Robert E. Howard stories. You can take the same stories. Like, how many versions of Red Nails have we read? Right? How many versions have there been? And then it's just like, oh, now the French, the Sumerians coming out and they're doing Red Nails. Like, do I really need another Red Nails? And you read it and you're like, yeah, it turns out that I did. There's something about Howard's work, the vibe that it has, the sense of fun. An adventure. I mean,
adventure. That's
one of the things too that to me is so much cooler about Cull is you've got the fucking Snake Men, who are so much fun, right? Matt, if you didn't know, they're an ancient race. I think they used to dominate humans, in fact, right? But now they've shrunken into the shadows and they're shapeshifters. And so Brule, the Spear Slayer, and Cull basically go and fucking fight these guys, like uncover their fucking hidden fucking temples and shit. Go in, fucking murk them, and the rest of the world, the rest of it's Lemuria, right? Or is it
Velusia,
right?
It's all part of the Hyborian Age. So
right, but it's like before Atlantis fell, right?
Yeah, before Atlantis
sank.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like long before Conan, right? And it's just something about that whole world that I think is captivating.
Yeah. Russ can say this. But yes, it is completely. We looked at the previous versions and found that they veered away from the core of what Howard had written. And Randy, who is a massive fan, not just of the stories, but of the way they're written as well. I mean, Robert E. Howard's wordsmanship is just beautiful.
He's my favorite writer.
It's a beautiful thing to read. It really is.
Yeah.
It just it's and so what he's tried to do is keep as much prose within the panel work as possible, so that you get that Robert E. Howard coming through. It's not just a graphic story. It's Robert E. Howard, and then we've put the Robert E. Howard, the original prose. I think it's 25, 26 pages of the original prose with spot illustrations in as well, so you can compare.
Oh, that's awesome! That's so awesome.
And if I'm not mistaken, in like decent sized print, not like what they did with the Sumerian and People of the Black Circle.
No,
it's just like here's the original story, and it's just like
got your magnifying glass out, having a look at that.
Monocle.
Almost looked like an afterthought, but no, we've given it a proper presentation.
I know. That's awesome. That's great.
I'll give you a quick look at that if you like.
I got the campaign up right here. I don't know if you guys want me to play the trailer or.
Yeah, you can do that if you want. Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Short and sweet.
I'll get a refill.
In the time before Atlantis sank and the lands of the world were savage and untamed, one man would claim his destiny. Leaving his Atlantean tribe behind and throwing off the shackles of Lemurian bondage, he sailed the seas as a pirate captain before seizing his place as a king. And now that he has the throne, how long will he be able to keep it? This is the Shadow Kingdom, the classic sword and sorcery tale by Robert E. Howard, adapted by Randy Zimmerman, with artwork by Russ Leach. Available now at FUNDMYCOMIC.com.
That's awesome, man.
There you go. Just straight to it. No messing about. Randy's got a voice for radio. Bless him.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a great voice. We went on FUNDMYCOMIC. Little word about FUNDMYCOMIC. Luke Stone is for want of a better phrase, doing the Lord's work.
Right.
He is. He's. We all complained. We've all been complaining about the comic book industry, whether it be the mainstream industry or whether it be indies and crowdfunding and gatekeeping. And do you know what this man did? He went out and did something positive. He made a thing. And everybody who's doing an indie book should be on this bloody platform. Sorry,
100% agree.
Not saying you shouldn't
I've had
go
people
to.
Ask me too, and I don't want to name names because I don't know if they'd be happy with that. But I've had people, ask me you think I should do Indiegogo? You think I should do Kickstarter? I'm like, motherfucker, you should do FUNDMYCOMIC.
Yeah. It's got a comic in the title.
And I've said this a billion times. I'm going to say it again. I've said a billion times more. I was not a believer in the beginning.
Yeah.
Right? Matt asked me, he was just like, so do you think this is going to work? And I was like, no. I think it's going to fail, but we should get behind it. And at least fucking try. If just to say that we tried. So that my next campaign is going to launch on FUNDMYCOMIC. And I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
And
I think if you're going to use Indiegogo or Kickstarter, there's no hate here. There's no like
No.
you should be doing this or you should be doing that.
No,
I may
no,
well
no,
end
no,
up
no,
doing
no,
a
no,
second
no.
chance on Indiegogo because people
Yes.
like platforms. You know what people are like.
Yeah.
But I just think, like you, Brian,
They're different
we should be
audiences.
giving it every chance possible for something that's incredibly positive. And that's what I love about this. What I love about Luke, what I love about
Yes.
FUNDMYCOMIC is positive.
Yes, and our community needs more of that. And this, so what I'm doing is, I would never tell anybody what to do. I've run campaigns on all the other platforms.
Yeah.
I'll still do that, like second chances and that sort of thing, because they have different audiences. And fact of the matter is, folks, we don't make a lot of money on these books.
No.
The money that we do make goes into the next book.
Yeah.
Right? These are passion projects.
They are, without doubt.
And you are not going to find the kind of passion that is in our scene in the mainstream comic book industry.
No, definitely not.
That's
very rare.
ticket.
And actually go to the LCSs now, like every week, and just to see what's in there. And no, you're not going to find anything.
No
like
passion.
That.
They're bloodless.
Rare.
They're bloodless.
No, that's exactly it. It's like this. Indie is where all the everything new is coming from. It's where all the energy is. It's all inspirational stuff. And okay, you can look at this and go, yeah, but this guy's dead. He's been dead for years, and this is old. But this is evergreen stuff. It's the way it's presented. It's bringing adventure back. That's what we need. We need more boys comics. We need more adventure. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm into. That's what I read as a kid. I'm not saying you shouldn't have girls' comics. I'm not saying you shouldn't have comics for everyone.
No.
Comics are for everyone, but not every
be.
comic is for everyone. It's okay to have an audience. And I love this stuff. Only Death Can Save Us was like that.
Yeah.
Also,
it was just fun. It's just a fun adventure. You can see more in it if you want, but if you don't have to, you can just
entertaining
big
and
people
more
beating each other up, and that's what this is about. Going back to a source, basically. This is Robert E. Howard is one of the giants we stand on the shoulders of, and I'm loving doing this. So.
But
yeah,
I envy you, sir. I'd love to do like some color, some songs. I would love to do as a Brand McMorn. He's very underappreciated. Black Turlog. That's the thing people don't understand, that he had a lot of characters because he was the hardest working man in his town in Texas, right? And everybody there thought he was a bum and treated him like he was a bum. He was working longer hours than all of those people.
Yeah.
And the amount of, because that's what blows your mind, is just like, oh my God, this guy died when he was 30.
Yeah. And look at what he did.
And look what he did. He would have been the American Tolkien for sure.
Oh
yeah, he was. Even Tolkien cites him as an influence. You know what I mean?
This is classed. This is, and that's what we say in the write-up. Is this is technically seen as the first sword and sorcery book.
Yes.
It's the grandfather of them all. So it is a privilege to work on it.
Randy's
done a great job adapting it, so you really feel like you're doing a Robert E. Howard book. And like I say, we're going to move on with those characters in the Atlantean series.
I'm really excited for that. Actually, Brian was telling me about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For some reason, it slipped. I saw you on Razor, but the part where I don't know if I got up and got a soda or beer or something, but you're going to be, and you said it today too on the show, but you guys are going to be making the Atlantean. It's going to expand the universe, and we knew Howard's got this beautiful world, and universe, I love seeing new stories explored through different writers and artists. I can't wait.
And what a playground.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a playground.
This incredible playground.
Yeah. It's like I like the expression tits and dragons personally. That's my thing. It's just fun, it's just adventure.
It absolutely screams out to the 15-year-old boy in you. Yeah. That's always still going to be there, right? And that is valid, and in a way that doesn't insult your intelligence, where these are really, really good, fun stories. Like you you can be an intellectual. You can appreciate fucking Homer and Shakespeare and appreciate Robert E. Howard, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
We all know there's no such thing as high art and low art. There's just art.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. Definitely.
It's so much fun.
So and
so
those...
you're going to deconstruct these characters, right? And there might be a little something between Brule and Cull. They might be taking their relationship to like
got it. Yeah, that's going to
another
get me
level.
sales.
They would do that. That's the thing. The mainstream would do that.
Yeah.
Barbarian.
Yeah, a word on, because we were talking about Titan Comics earlier, and so far they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about all the black and white artwork. Okay,
That, for me, that's what it was. The Savage Sword. I didn't like what they did with the first story. It was entertaining. I mean, he got a little bit too much help from the lady in there. Like,
that was I saw a review, and that's what the review said. Was like,
it was still entertaining, but it was like could have been better. And the art looked like it was colored and then switched to like black and white. You know what I mean?
It was a bit weird. Yeah.
Hopefully the next one gets better. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I don't know.
Can you blow up my screen real quick?
Oh, look at this. Look at
this out. This is what you fucking need to have.
Yeah.
Right?
Hold on 1 sec.
I got this when I was on the took a train to Chicago for C2E2.
Ooh, look at that.
And this is what I brought with me.
Very nice.
Wow.
And this is some fucking great reading here. And the stuff that was made for color comics looks good. But then there's all the Savage Sword of Conan style stuff, you know, from the magazines, because a lot of Cull was adapted as backup stories.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So you've got Barry Windsor Smith.
Yeah, I love it.
You've got fucking Mike Plug.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah. Cool. Also, you get John Severin.
Plug's awesome.
There's just
wow.
Pablo Marcos, all those characters. You know, I can't get it to focus properly.
I didn't know
I'm sure
they
you
did
can
that
probably
one.
find this on.
Yeah,
like Amazon.
I'll go pick it up.
Cheap.
I picked up these Savage Sword of Conan ones, so they're the same. Same series. These two.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
They're coming. Titan's making omnibuses of those too.
That's right.
Hardcover. So I'm looking forward to those. You can get everything.
That will be something else we do. Is we'd like to do a hardback black and white version of this.
Oh yeah, that'd be
I'm such a black and white guy.
Yeah, me too.
Such a black and white guy. But I mean, this looks great in color.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, well, I did. Where are we? These. So you've got these, the old 80s comics. These ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tree of Woe.
You can tell that's like after the movie.
Whoa,
no, that's actually. Is that the movie adaptation?
This is the movie adaptation.
The Tree of Woe.
And that's the Conan comics. I got a whole bundle of them as well.
Love those too.
Yeah.
And
the Savage Sword was always like the bomb.
There you go. So you can see like it's quite sort of washed out and simple colours.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we wanted to do with this. Basically,
totally,
we wanted
man.
To give that feel. We also didn't want to start with a black and white book. Because unfortunately markets are what markets are. You're more likely to sell a colour book.
Yeah, definitely.
So once we've enticed people in with a full colour book, if we can do the Atlantean and move on, a 48 pager will reduce the price, obviously.
Ooh, nice.
And sort of, I was looking at around the $15 mark. I did a little poll the other day just to see what people would do.
Yeah.
And if we could do that would be perfect, because I'd really like to do black and white.
Black and white's awesome,
black and white book too. Matt and I are doing.
That's all I'm doing personally. I mean, I'm
cool.
I'm a newbie. I'm a late newbie. But all I'm doing is black and white. Some of the tiers right here, you got $25 plus shipping. It's going to be 110 pages. You guys can't beat that. Then you got the 35 plus shipping. You get the color print right there. And then you got the limited. You got the Shadow Kingdom graphic novel plus 2 black and white prints. Damn, I want that one. 40 bones.
Yeah, it looks really good.
You got limited edition times 2 book offer. $45. Save a little bit. It looks like. Book plus sketch. for $100. One copy of the book plus a black and white inks, a character sketch by Russ. Ooh, man, get some original art by Russ, man. Get in there. Then you got $200 for a page.
Yeah.
That's oh my God, you guys.
That's insane.
That's
insane.
insane.
Get a book.
Russ is a pro, man.
As well. Yeah.
You heard all the work he's done. $300 for the splash page. Like this one right here. Full action page. Still, and it's coming with the book too, guys.
Yeah.
So, and people are already swooping stuff up. So
yeah, the cover went. I'm pretty sure that Razor Fist got that. So
production art. Yeah, I mean if that would go good right over the all these would go good right over the fireplace. Come and check it out, guys. Come back the book. There's only like 9 days left.
Sure.
We're so pleased with the response. 167 is great.
It is. It is. I was going to say congratulations. Like that's a pretty nice, solid number.
Yeah.
It's great for FUNDMYCOMIC too, man. Like seeing more people are coming over here. Like if everybody just came over here, it would help the site and it would help the movement of indie like so much more.
Yeah, it would help everyone. Yeah. So
Russ, I have a question for you, man. What's your favorite metal band?
Metal band. Oh.
He has to think about it.
I've got to think about it because.
I always stump people with my stupid little questions.
They're not stupid. They're patented, man. They're patented.
They're good. What was the name of that band? Oh,
it's funny too because like most people have a favorite metal band.
No, it was. We had a band in the 90s, and I can't remember the day. It was 3 black guys, but they played really heavy duty metal, and they were really damn good. I can't remember their names.
Bad Brains. It's the only band that I could think of that fits that.
Who was it? Sorry?
Brains.
The Bad Brains?
No, it wasn't them. I can't remember. Sorry, I'm old, and it is the middle of the night.
We'll forgive you. We'll find it in our hearts.
Was it painted red or
Living Color?
Living Color. That's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's about as metal as I get. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's still metal. I mean,
Living Color.
We'll find it in our hearts to forgive you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm sure you like Black Sabbath too, right?
On occasion, yeah.
They're metal. Yeah. I mean, they're one of the founding fathers. In my opinion.
What I didn't want to do was just turn around and go, "Oh yeah, AC/DC," because it's like anyone can know. Anyone can know that.
I mean, it's still metal.
Give you a real answer.
Motorhead too.
Motorhead. Well, Lemmy,
they're still metal. A lot of people like Motorhead. I feel you probably like a couple of songs by them being over there.
Yeah. They're okay. Yeah. My music tastes are varied and wide.
Me too, man.
Which is a good thing.
It's always good, and it's good. It's good for writing and listening to music, and
it's just a pity it died in 2005.
Yeah.
Like every other entertainment.
No, it did, man. It's crazy. We're going back watching. That's why we watch the horror movie club and the Western Jamboree. Like Brian showed me all these old horror, these giallo movies, a lot of these spaghetti movies. The spaghetti western show is strictly spaghetti westerns. We're not doing regular westerns. Spaghetti.
Yeah, it's spaghetti westerns.
Now is the time.
It's crazy.
Now is the time for people to check out all of the cool old shit.
Yeah,
right now, or they yank it, and it's free right now.
So much great stuff. It's readily available,
and they're going to take it. They're going to take
it.
And so grab that shit now. Watch it now.
For free.
Physical media all the way.
Physical media if you can. Yeah.
Physical media. Let's just go out and buy stuff.
Yeah.
I got myself the whole run of Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah,
a few months back.
So good. So good.
I went back and rebought the first 2 Batman movies, the Keaton ones.
Yeah, so good.
So just brilliant stuff. And a High Plains Drifter I picked up a little while ago.
Nice.
That leads me to my next question. What's your favorite movie, Russ?
Oh God, that's a hard
If you can't pick
question.
one, you can pick 3.
I could pick 3.
You can't pick one.
Dawn of the Dead 1978.
That's what Narwhals was, right? Last week.
Escape from New York. Yeah, that blew my mind. I was just like, right answer.
It's a good one.
Good one, yeah. Oh god, Aliens.
Okay.
It's a good choice.
Ghostbusters.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
That's fun.
Oh
A little bit of
god.
Bernie Wrightson in there.
Yep.
Little Bernie.
Yep.
I don't know whether to go with like light and entertaining or
Whatever,
deep
whatever you
motivation.
love watching.
Whatever's your favorite?
Whatever you
Like,
love watching.
What do you
But when
watch when you're feeling down?
You
and
push
you
people
feel
out of the way if it comes on.
that would-
Get out of the way.
Like, what's
That'd be
precious to your heart?
Ghostbusters and Back to the Future will always make you feel good.
Yeah. Okay.
Always.
That's where it is, right
Always. If you want adventure, then like I was saying earlier, the Conan film.
there. Yeah, I
Arnold
love that
Schwarzenegger.
movie.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I like push people
If-
when Conan comes on.
If
That
you want to
and Rebel
laugh a
Scouts.
lot,
so great.
watch Commando. That'll make you giggle right the way
Oh, man.
through.
Oh yeah, well that's
Love
just
Commando.
that's a fun movie. It was written
Yeah.
by a comic book guy, Jeff
Oh.
Loeb.
That's
Oh,
right. Jeff Loeb wrote
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah. It's
There you go.
basically a
love Schwarzenegger
superhero
movies.
movie.
So good. Like
Excellent.
he has so
Excellent.
many good movies. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
I always
brilliant.
ask people that. Oh, what you got, Brian? What you got, brother? I'm glad you made this show, bro.
Oh, thanks for having me, and I hope I haven't been taken up, swallowed
Nah,
up by
dude.
the air here.
It's
No,
always
we're
a
just chilling.
pleasure
But,
to see you,
yeah, I
Brian.
can't get that to
Always.
focus right, but that's John Severin.
Another
Severin
giant.
Conan.
Another giant.
Cult story. So
I'm
I'm,
now gonna
sorry,
have
I'm just geeking out here.
I'm
No.
now going to have to go out and look for that.
Right?
Well, I mean, just look. I mean, I am such a Robert E. Howard fan, and to see, somebody that is adapting his work and doing it in a way that is, faithful
That's
to the
thing,
spirit
faithful.
of Howard. I mean, we've been very lucky in the sense that our first steward was Roy Thomas.
Yeah.
Right? He did well. He did right by Howard for sure.
And he was
it's
a
like
magical
now,
writer himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, that it's falling on other people to do it.
Mm.
And of course, you hope that that they're not going to do like a Jason Aaron or something like that. That they're going to do stuff that is just but would be considered now toxically masculine.
Well,
Yeah,
this
What
is-
do? You
this is
lean into
toxically
that
masculine.
shit because Howard is very much cranked up to 11.
He is. Yeah. And I think you need that.
You do.
I think you need a wide range of stories, but young boys need to see some action and adventure.
Exactly.
Yes, they do.
They need to get out
Matt,
and read it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Can you just stop right there? Scroll down a little bit more. I'm sorry. I got to do this, right? Stop right there. Now you see the lower right panel?
Yeah.
I just love that there's no caption there because Brule is just kind of like looking at Cull like, yeah, motherfucker, that's what I do. I carry dead fucking snake men.
That'd be a good shirt, right? Yeah, that's what I do.
I carry dead
fucking
snake
snake.
people.
That would be a good shirt. I mean,
Pulls back.
if it said
He's
that,
just
you know?
like, yeah.
And the Howard fan would be like, "Yeah, I got you."
It's fucking badass, man.
There's just
Yeah,
something
and then
about-
they'll go off and be like, all wounded and shit, and then like everybody thinks that they're bums.
Oh, here we go.
Because it's like everything heroic that he does, that they do, is in the shadows.
Mm-hmm. I just shared your screen. All right, here we
Oh,
go.
right. Okay. You got that. Yeah. So you can
Yeah.
see some of what's going on here.
Nice.
Just
Nice.
inside.
And your art is a little different from stylistically, it's a little different from Only Death Can Save Us.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
it's still Russ Leach. Like I could tell it's you.
Yeah,
But I
thank
could
you.
see the differences.
That's what I was saying earlier. It's like you still have to find, even though it's you, you still have to find the appropriate outlet for the story. It
Yeah.
has to be right for the story.
And I would say it's perfect for like Conan, this would have been in Savage Tales of Conan, and it would have just
Sure.
it would have fit
That
right
would've
in
been
there
this book. That's what I'm
perfectly.
saying. It would've
Like
been
this,
in this
your
book.
art, the story would have fit perfectly back in the day. Even I mean, obviously the new ones too, but in the old original stuff, man.
Thank you.
Okay, you know what? Actually, It
Oh
is
my
kind
God.
of cool to see this in color because
So
the Red
good.
Slayers are wearing red.
Yeah, they're in red. Yeah.
Like I'd actually want both. I'm not gonna lie. Like I prefer black and white,
Right.
but I like the color too because it's just it makes
Well,
it more
we're
magical in some ways.
We're
Yeah.
Genuine Comics, Dave Brink over at Genuine Comics. Perfect 10, you know that stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He
Of course.
again,
Yeah.
another guy that
Great
is
guy.
doing absolutely
Yeah.
sterling work.
Yeah, man.
He bought out Perfect 10 issue 1 in hardback, black and white, artist edition. We're going to be doing something similar with this. We spoke to RJ over at Critical Blast, and we will be doing that. Something else I'm going to be doing after the third Only Death Can Save Us is I will be doing an essential Only Death Can Save Us.
Nice.
So like a 300-page black and white, thin paper, that kind of stuff.
I got to get him on this channel. I had him. He lives in the Netherlands. He had me on a Sunday like a couple weeks ago. Very nice guy. Very nice guy.
So, dude, he is one of the treasures of our community.
Yeah,
for sure. And he was somebody who was going through like a rough time, and built this thing. And it's like, oh my God, we have distribution now.
Yeah. It's just
fantastic. I love RJ.
So there's a sample of his writing. So many were age-old enemies of Cull's nation, and though the name of Cull was now a word accursed among the mountains and valleys of his people, and though Cull had put them from his mind, yet the old hates, the ancient passions still lingered, for Cull was no Volusian, but an Atlantean. Sort of words. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
You just can't write like that either. Like there's just no one writing like that.
There's no one writing like that.
Like there's just certain people that come along in history that they just are like, and you're not going to be them. Like you're not going to but you could play in their world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you could honor them and have fun in that world.
And that's what we'll be doing. We'll be honoring what Howard was about. So,
I can't wait to get this book, man. How many more pages do you have to do?
None. It's done. It's finished.
What? You hear that, folks? This thing
ready to
he
go.
said none done. It's finished.
It's
So
finished.
go over to
See, I didn't know that.
FUNDMYCOMIC. Rate an account if you haven't. It takes about 5 minutes. It's really easy. It's normie and like me.
It is. It was because that's the thing. I know a lot of people don't want to create a new account because they're lazy.
Yeah.
And trust me, I get it. I'm guilty of the same exact shit.
But I did it. I've been backing books on FUNDMYCOMIC. I'm on FUNDMYCOMIC with BUTCH CLEAVER.
You can create
awesome site, guys.
an account like that.
Be part of this. Be part of the community. Be part of the movement. Man. Get over there.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking the color.
I love that. I know, that's what I'm saying. I want both versions.
The
this
color
is no. I do
the color
too.
is fun.
It is fun.
It's fun because it's like I did with Only Death Can Save Us. It's just simple.
That's what it's all about, man.
I'm not the best colorist. I did actually color up the last 2 issues of Batman I did, and it was kind of quite painterly, and I was quite impressed with myself in the end because that's not what I do. But this is I do this in these books on purpose. If we wanted to have a different look, I'd go and get a colorist to do it, like someone who knows, the best person for the job. But there's no. To me, I want the inks to do the heavy lifting.
Exactly.
So I want flat colors with
we need flats,
thin tones, just the occasional bit of variation, and then let the inks do the job, 100%. and then I'll put out the black and white, and you can see how they work. So
that's fantastic.
That's the only way. Like,
you know what?
You don't want people painting over your line work,
Well, I'm so sorry for stepping over you, Matt, but
that's all good.
This is an audience where it's like we're book people, right? We need the book in our hands, right? We're not digital people. So, because I've been wanting to do artist editions too, because when I get like pages from Preston, they're so beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm like, I just want to go. Can we just print it like that?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And of course, the important thing is that as the artist, you're happy with the colors, right?
Yeah. I'm happy with the way
you have to be happy.
It's like I say, it's a simple approach, but it just helps the storytelling. Also, it's kind of it's my MO. People know me for being that Bronze Age guy. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? That guy that's so in love with his childhood that you can't stop doing it.
I remember when like Only Death came out, you know, and like, oh, dude, he's got these flats, and then like, King Cryptid, he's got his flats, you know what I mean? And then I think Nolan does a little bit of flats too, sometimes, but it's just like there's not that many people doing it, dude. And I think that a lot of people are afraid of it. And me, I personally like flats now. Like that's the way I would want to do it personally.
Sure.
I don't want someone painting over the line work.
You look at the colors on something like Mike Mignola's work in Hellboy, and there was a lot of flat color in that. A lot.
No,
and his style is far simpler than either of ours, and yet it worked completely for him, and that's why, because it's a magical combination, and you just got to get it right. And yeah, don't get me wrong, I love to see well-colored work, strongly colored books. Sometimes it can be over the top.
Yeah,
but,
a nice
but
painting,
I still love them.
you know.
I still enjoy them, but it's just not what I want to produce. I just want to produce the stuff that I want to produce. So, and that's the great thing about it, is the variety. You know, that's what
teach their own. You know,
and there's an audience out there. You know, there's an audience out there. We're finding that. Like I said, an audience that wants books. So you know, they will buy like a black and white artist's edition.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, and hopefully they'll buy sort of the Atlantean moving forward as well.
Well, I mean, look, it looks like you've got the book done, right? People can go order it now, and they're not going to have to wait to finish.
No, it's
creating an account on FUNDMYCOMIC.com is real quick, real simple, and you just want to get folks seriously. You want to get behind this platform for sure.
Dude,
I'm sorry, I'm preaching now.
No, it's a good. Keep going. It's a great thing. It's something positive. I love positive stuff. There's so much negative, and it's so good to see someone do something, make something, be something.
Yeah, we are so fortunate to be doing this, to be able to do this, to make comic books. It's you know, I think it gets lost on people sometimes because there's so much work involved.
Yeah,
but you can never forget the fun and the joy of the fact that what are we doing?
Myself every day. Books. You know, like I'm doing this for this is what I do. This is what I sit down and do every day. And it's an amazing thing. It really is. Very, very, very. I wouldn't say lucky. I'll say fortunate, because you make your own luck, and you have to work hard. But
I'm work really
very
hard.
Fortunate to be in that situation. Yeah,
it's a job. It's a fun job, but it's a job. But that's the whole thing. Is you want to get to a point where you can do it as a job, and how blessed we are to be able to I don't know, just to be able to make comic books. You know. Yeah, I mean, you were probably like, I'm guessing both of you guys, when you were little kids, were making little comic books.
Yeah. Well, I was just tracing. I remember sitting down for a day and tracing a whole page of comic book art out of the Micronauts.
The old Marvel comic?
Yeah, and I had a big thick B2 pencil, and I was making sure I'd put all the blacks in and everything.
Michael Golden, probably.
Golden, like completely copying that. Yeah, totally in full of it. And so we all do it. You know, as artists, we'd all do it. You know, like you were saying earlier, Matt, there's different ways of getting to your styles, different ways of doing things, and there's nothing wrong with copying at the start.
No,
just to get you going, get your hand moving. You know, get you to understand just how you interact with the tools that you have.
Every artist in every medium starts out imitating other artists, right? It's just gradually, as you learn, you will come to your own style.
Yeah, it's finding your way. That's all.
It's gonna rip out like a wolf, you know. I actually forgot that I made a comic book in 7th grade. Like it totally just left my mind. You know what I mean? I don't know why. I made up a character called Thug. And it was in a class I took. It was a comic book class, and it was laminated and everything. And I don't even know what I did with it. And it was very like rip off of like the Max. He had a big club and just one big tooth that came out the side of his body. And his name was Thug. Like,
I hope you find that, dude.
No, I'll never find it. And we had to make a company name. It was a publishing elective for 7th grade. So I made a. Yeah, I was like, damn, I wonder what I did with that book. You know what I mean?
I'm saying it could be in a box somewhere.
Nah, it's gone. And
You
we
never know,
laminated
man.
them with this like a laminated thing. But yeah, it's crazy. I got to ask you, Russ, though, what's your favorite beer?
Beer. I like what's the one in the fridge at the moment?
A Hefeweizen.
No, it would be Stella Artois. Wife
Oh, yeah.
beater.
Well, excellent
Wife
choice.
beater over here.
Yeah, that's good beer.
Stella
That's good
Artois. I do actually like what's the Mexican one?
Corona?
No, not Corona.
Dos
Tecate?
Equis?
Oh, Modelo.
No. Maybe it's
Dos
Spanish. I thought it was Mexican. Maybe it's Spanish. I don't know. You always have a bit of lime in it. That's quite nice. But yeah, Stella's mostly in the but chosen drink most of the time is Jack Daniels.
Also, JD. Is that the rye one or is that the honey one?
That's the honey. Yeah.
Okay, I haven't tried that yet. I've seen it. Have you tried the rye one yet?
No.
I thought it was pretty good actually. When it first came out, I got it at Target for like $16 over here.
Cool.
It's a pretty good price.
Yeah. And I used to be a big vodka drinker.
Kind of move around, huh?
Yeah, but
people
I found
do that.
this and it's just too easy to drink.
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. That's cool, man. I always ask people what they're drinking. So that one's pretty good. I might have to try that sometime.
Corona, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, Corona.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Modelo's pretty good too, and there's another one like Corona that's very similar. It's called Jalisco Estrella. It's kind of new. It's pretty good. Yeah,
but I'm not a big beer drinker. Yeah, I just
I kind of stopped myself. I know this is Metal Movies and Brewskis, but I just kind of do maybe one beer a week. Usually now I do like a beer and like a bourbon or something, but it's not really doing it as much. Yeah, I don't know. But definitely I get my drink on every week. So next up you have this is all done.
This is done. Yeah, apart from some art for the back of the book, which I was showing you earlier. So there's another one.
Yeah, I mean, I could do a close up right here. I'll give you a solo layout so we could see it. There we go, man. That's sick. Wow.
So
look at that, man.
I've got another one here.
Oh wow, look at that. That's something else, man.
So I've got 2 more of those to do. And then that's it. I mean, I literally just wanted to do some extra art for the back of the book, but the book's done. It's finished. What I showed you earlier had some Latin in it, but that was just because it was a placeholder. It's an old preview version. In fact, I tell you what,
I gotta say, man, I know you're a pro, but I think this is your best work. I'm just saying, oh wow, you know,
I think it is as well. I think I've hit
it's like, damn,
some kind of a stride now. This is for Brian, but
Brian ran off. Where'd you go, Brian?
Brian ran off. There you go.
I just want to pop a lasagna into the microwave.
Fair enough.
I've been in, we were talking about beer. I really don't drink anymore, but I do enjoy a little bit of the sticky of the icky. And so if I've been extra loquacious and like talking over you gentlemen, I apologize.
It's okay. It's a casual stream, man. That's what men do sometimes.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
So this is, I just want to
see, but no, that's great. I
love that.
Thank you. That's a nice that's a really nice presentation.
Yeah. And
you got illustrations in there.
Yeah, the illustration and the scrolls, and the logos actually for the Atlantean and the Shadow Kingdom were done by Glenn Fleming.
Okay.
So these are like what, the scrolls of Skelos? I'm pretty good with my Robert E. Howard lore, but I'm not perfect.
Yeah, no,
I'm far from perfect because it's incredibly dense.
Yeah.
I love that.
He's done a great job on the scrolls and the logos. So
I love the layout of the book. I was going to ask you who's doing like the layouts. And
I did the
layout.
Not
the layout, but the book design.
That's beautiful.
The design of like the book design and stuff.
Yeah, these bits were put together by Glenn.
Oh, sweet, man.
But the book design itself is by me. So.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even really think about that till I started like doing graphic novels, and like one person I know that's really good too in the scene is Von Klaus. Like he has really cool like book designs too, like for his appendices and his behind the scenes jazz. And his Necronomicon coming out. Man, this book looks sick. I'm definitely gonna back it. I can't wait to get it.
There's just so much great stuff out there. That's the trouble. There's too much of it.
I know.
But this one's definitely at the top of my list. I actually review the new Conan book, so every week I'm doing like 1 or 2 reviews. They're already up on issue 9 right now. So like, there's only 2 books I'm collecting in the mainstream, and it's the Goon and it's the Conan stuff, or the Howard stuff that they're putting out, Savage Sword, and then I got this. I'm like, oh fuck, dude.
See, I don't have an LCS.
I mean, I got the homie making one in the community. I want to pick this up. It looks like
it may
perfect.
It may go to Diamond. It may.
Good. It should.
It's Arrow are talking to Diamond at the
hopefully,
moment.
man.
So we'll see.
It should do good now. I mean, people want this like right now. They've wanted it for many years. Yeah. He's a good counterbalance to what's happening. Yeah. And it's gonna have to be that way.
Yeah. We actually
for many years to come.
We were approached by Red Dragon, who are a publishing house in Brazil.
Good.
And we've already signed the contract with they're producing the book in Brazil in Portuguese. So
very nice.
And they're doing a black and white and a color version. So we're going to send them all the artwork, and they're going to sort it out.
Nice.
So that's a big market. So fingers crossed. For
France would be dope too, man. France and Japan.
Yeah. I mean, I've got friends who can translate for Dutch, German, French, and I think Italian. So it is something.
Yeah,
because I've been saying for years we should be. That's something we should be doing. We already have the art.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we just
just translate it?
Just re-letter the books.
It can be expensive, but obviously,
I know
mates rates. I should be able to get it for a reasonable amount, and then I can put it. Maybe approach other publishers. I've got a publisher over here doing Only Death Can Save Us, but unfortunately, it's not getting through. You know what it's like out there. It's just like Amazon, Barnes and Noble. They're just massive marketplaces, without any real push. It's difficult.
It's the LCSs, man. Like it. It's like what Lawson was saying, dude, with his shorts. Like they need to be a cool hangout spot. The LCS has got to be cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like when it's cool, you're gonna go there and you're gonna mingle and you're gonna talk shit and you're gonna chop it up. No, my book's this is better, and it has.
But the trouble is, it's like when you've got corporate comics producing the dross that they are producing, it's not enticing people into the shop
to even go to the shop.
Dross is too kind of a word.
They're pushing the
you're being a very charitable man, Mr.
They're pushing the big two stuff, and a lot of it's trash. When I've talked to a lot of comic store owners, they're like, dude, I can't read this, bro. I'm reading manga now. He's like, I'm reading manga now. I don't even like manga, and I'm reading it. It's because it's better. And this is the owners.
Because it's all there is. That's the trouble, and we need to they need to key in. We need to get together in some way. I don't know how. Critical Blast are doing good things.
Some of us are working on it behind the scenes. Some of us are trying to put something together for sure.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's what should be. And it was always going to happen because corporate comics they've gone down the toilet.
Yes, and there's so much talent. There's so much talent.
There's more now than there's ever been.
We need to.
You want to know like right off the bat how much talent there is in the world. Like there's more artists now in the world than there's ever been that could draw comics. There just is. Look at the Spawn contest that there was in the thousands of entries of like immaculate art. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
And there ain't no books for them to draw. That's what's fucked up. So like the industry should be huge right now, but these gatekeeping corporations are just screwing it up for everybody.
There's always that caveat though. They may well have drawn a lovely cover.
Oh yeah,
doesn't mean they can tell a story.
Sequential, or tell a story.
They are two different skill sets, and that may have something to do with it. I mean, back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you had studios, and people would come up and be mentored through those studios in not just illustration, but in how to tell stories, like the whole gamut of how to produce comic books. And I do think that even though you have incredibly talented artists coming up with amazing skill sets, it's still telling stories that is the most important thing. If you can't entice someone into your pages, no matter how good the art is, okay, if the art is static, if it doesn't progress a story, doesn't matter how good it is, you're not going to read the book, because the whole point is it's a comic book, it's a visual medium. It takes you along with those panels, panel to panel to panel. And if you can't make it flow, then it can be the best work in the world and it won't make any difference.
All about the
This
layout.
is why
and the
I
writing
always say that the artists, because right now the industry is very, it has been very writer driven.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Whereas when we were growing up, it was artist driven, right?
Yeah, especially in the 90s.
As a writer, I could say that the artists are always going to be at least 5 to 10% more important, because if somebody picks the book up and they open it and they look at the art and it makes them go, ugh, it's going back. It's going back on the shelf.
Yeah, I buy for the art.
Nobody's going to bother. Nobody's going to read my awesome story if the art makes them go, ugh.
No, that's why I don't read manga mostly, because I can't stand the art. I'm like, damn, this story's so good, but I'll put it back. Like I can't stand the art.
It's the perfect relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
I love my wife for all kinds of different reasons, but the first time I saw her, it was because she looked great. That's what attracted me to her. She looked great.
Yes.
And I had the balls to go out and say something to her, and then beyond that, I be with her because she's wonderful inside, because she's there's the story. There's the story. And it's that relationship with beauty, but also with something that's worthwhile, that's worth staying for, that's worth being there, that gives you something back. And that's what comic books do when they're done well. When they're done well, it's a beautiful. I see this between, artists and writers, and you see people online, oh, lazy writers or artists, they're all up their own backside and they want to be paid. Yeah, we do want to be paid because it's quite a labor-intensive job. Okay, that's why artists want to be paid. That's why you have that approach. But at the end of the day, it's 50-50. It absolutely has to be a marriage of the writing and the art. It must be, and they must both be respected equally. And this swing backwards and forwards is no good for comics. It's no good for storytelling.
No. But this is why also it's like you need to embrace collaboration.
Yes.
Completely.
Definitely. Yeah.
And you have to trust your artist and trust in their storytelling ability. It's like
that's the ticket.
Like
that's the one.
It's like Preston always says that when you're making a comic book, you got two storytellers, right? And but like what I do is I write full script style, but then I give it to the artist, and I'm just like treat it Marvel style.
Yeah. See what comes back. Yeah, and the artist, it's especially good if you can have that kind of relationship and trust between the writer and the artist. Because the writer can go, right, okay, this is my vision, these are the guidelines, these are the rules, this is where it's going, go away. And then the artist can look at it and go, right, okay, if I stick an extra panel in there, or if I remove it and move it to the next page, and you can trust that process, and they can come back and go, I did it because of this, and you're like, yeah, that works, let's move forward. That's the way it works.
This needs to breathe a little bit. This needs like an extra page. Okay.
Yeah. Some people can't handle that.
No.
Some people get
they're
very
clowns.
Precious. Yeah.
They're clowning
get real mad
themselves.
about
That's
that.
the thing. Right? And it all comes down to, most importantly, number one rule, coolest idea wins.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Never. Oh, my idea is better because it's my idea. It's like, no. Preston is my bastard, man. He's always doing that to me.
That's for story, right? What's gonna keep him interested in turning that page?
Yeah, no, it's cool. That's the cooler idea.
Preston is a fabulous artist.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
and you are too, sir. And like I said, the talent in our sphere is just phenomenal.
There is some amazing stuff out there, and it's just such a pity that it's such a small window in order to get to us all.
Yeah, nobody knows about it.
Yeah,
but
really
I mean that's
frustrating.
That's our challenge.
Yeah.
That's our challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. If if I'm able to sell 100,000 books in Portuguese, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like the spaghetti western, you know, like Lee Van
I
Cleef
don't
going
care.
over to Spain
You know,
and making movies anywhere. You know,
I've
he's
reached
a working man. You know,
that many people. It doesn't matter that I don't speak the same language. I've reached that many human beings with a book.
yeah,
If-
you're a
if
working
the rest-
artist.
If the rest of my career was spent in Brazil, well, it's like fine, I'm good with that. You know,
Exactly.
because
Same here.
The most important thing is that you reach people. That's why you tell stories.
Gotta
That's
reach
the whole
them.
point.
Yeah.
I agree with
It's
that.
touching a soul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, it's about touching a soul. If you get, that's oh man.
Then they connect with you, you know.
When people really connect with your work and they let you know that they have, there's nothing like that.
No,
There's nothing like that. I've been really blessed in that area.
That's why I say to people, it's like, you know, people are giving you a little bit of themselves. When they buy something from you, they buy it with money, and they earned that money. And in order to earn that money, they have to give a little bit of their life over to whatever they do to earn that money. They're giving that little bit of life to you for your book and your story. The idea that you should think that whatever opinion they may have about your story or the character or how you've written them is in some way toxic is incredibly arrogant. Okay?
Yes.
They're giving you a little bit of their life and you're writing something for them.
Yes.
All right. Doesn't mean you should do what they tell you to do. And you should, in some ways, write for yourself to a degree.
Right.
Okay?
For sure.
But at the same
That's the most
time,
important thing, I think.
you want to connect with these people. You want to be part of their lives, part of their story.
Yeah.
And that requires respect, not arrogance.
Without a doubt. And you see the arrogance that's the mainstream. My God, man.
Yeah.
The stories I've heard about people like Mark Waid or Kurt Busiek, and it's just like, oh my God.
I've been fortunate. You know, I got to draw Batman last year. The Doctor Who stuff was okay, I suppose. I certainly enjoyed drawing Peter Capaldi. You know, and the stuff that I've done is some Marvel characters. You know, I've done bits and pieces, and I've scratched the itch, as it were. I got to do some of the things that I wanted to do when I was a kid. I'm very, very fortunate in that aspect. But I really can't see myself wanting to work for those companies because they're not the things that I loved when I was a kid. They've changed
anymore.
so radically. And I think in order to get something out of it, you've got to go your own way in order to really benefit from it. That's not to say I won't, you know, if somebody turned up tomorrow and said, "Oh, do you want to do Captain America?" I'd be like, "Yeah, all right, how much?" But
Right. Yeah.
But
For
the
me, it'd be like
chances
Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom. Okay.
of course you're going to do it. Of course you're going to do it. Yeah, but the chances are they ain't going to pay me much. So
yeah,
you know,
that's true.
do I kill myself for it? I don't know. I really don't know. So, you know, I'm always open. You know, if they start writing good stories and ever want me, then I'd be up for it. Of course, I'd be up for pages. Unless, of course, I've got my own stuff that's so successful that I really don't have the time. So that's what I'm saying. I've scratched an itch to a degree. I got to draw Batman. That's it. I can die happy now. But it's like outside of that, it's about what you can do. It's about your stuff. It's about getting your messages across. Like we were saying just a few minutes ago, and drawing. All I ever wanted to do was be an art monkey. Do you know what I mean? I just wanted to draw pages. Sit and draw pages because that's the thing I loved. I didn't even really want to ink. I want to just sit down and do stuff and then like the story and give it to an inker and let a really good solid inker like we used to have in Sinnott, you know, or Alcala or Chan or whatever, like embellish the pages, you know, like there's my pages, you make it happen, okay. And I'd have loved to have been in the bullpen, as it were, but that doesn't happen anymore, and you may well be, you know, like I said, I got a Batman gig, I got a Doctor Who gig. They're not there anymore. That's gone, and I don't speak to the editors at the moment. So where's the next page coming from?
Right.
It's just not. You've got to make it happen yourself. You've got to make these things happen yourself, and that's something else that I think a lot of people who are coming up into comics don't quite understand. Is it's not the X factor. Okay, it's turned into a scenario where you have to be an entrepreneur and a creator.
Yes.
You can't just be one.
Yes,
Right?
and the problem is a lot of artists were not naturally business minded.
Flaky.
Yeah, no, I mean that's why
artists.
it's important to find people and connect with people that are a little more, I don't know, functional
business savvy
when it comes to business.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah,
No, we're flighty
yeah.
people. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's
crazy.
It's tricky. It's tough. Yeah, but you know, see, that's the thing that a lot of these artists, a lot of the people that we look at on a Friday morning or on Comics by Night, and the people that we're talking about, they have fabulous pages of art, okay, but they all came out of a schedule. They all came out of doing a book, week in, week out, month in, month out. Okay, these guys were incredibly professional. I mean, no one's going to match the speed of Kirby or even Buscema, really.
Jesus.
But still, you know, like, artists pump pages out, and you can't come to the board in the morning and go, I don't feel it today.
Right.
You know,
you got to make it happen.
You've got to turn it on, make it happen. You know, and that's the professional aspect. That's the non-flaky aspect, and that's why there were so few people who could manage comic books in the old days, because that was the job. Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas
Those
now
workhorses.
there are so many
It's
routes to
insane.
market, so many options that a lot of people come to comics. But at the end of the day, they still have to knuckle down and get the job done. They might not be on the same schedules as it used to be.
You have to do the work.
But you still have to do the work, and that's hard. It is hard, and not just for not just like the aspect of, oh, you got to, you know, get to the coalface and get it done. It's also, it's got to be hard for younger people as well, because the money just isn't there in page work anymore. The publishing industry is on its knees as far as that is concerned.
It's so terrible.
And how can you be young and get into the industry? You know, it's really tough. Really
well,
tough.
they're
So
doing like, you know, most of them read manga and manga and anime. They think of Batman, and that's their dad's comic.
Yeah.
Right. And you know, they do webtoons, I guess.
Yeah, but you're not getting paid for that.
I know. I think there's a handful of people who are, right?
Yeah.
I think like the people who are like really huge, but otherwise.
But that's even more of a rock star situation, where very, very few people are actually making big money out of it, and the rest, everybody else, are just paupers. And that's no way to run an industry, really.
And it all looks the same too. That's the most discouraging thing, is when you look at it and you're just like, everything has the exact same look.
Yeah.
It's just ugh.
Uh-oh.
No individuality, right? Where when you were a kid, that's one of the things that you looked forward to about going to a comic book shop, or to, you know, the Five and Dime in my case, and the spinner racks, is just seeing, you know, all these different colorful colors and characters. Who he looks
titles.
cool, that looks cool.
Yeah, I'm picking up a Gene Colan, Donald Howard the Duck comic. I mean, that's an experience.
I love those.
That's an experience. I mean, the art in that is just incredible, and yet it's Howard the Duck.
His Daredevil was so badass. His
America,
Iron Man was great. His Doctor Strange was incredible.
Tomb of Dracula.
He's like doing Howard the Duck doing fucking quack foo.
Yeah, but that was the genuine variety that you got back then. It was it was bonkers, and we have that variety back again. It's not in the mainstream. It's not in corporate comics.
I know. It's just all about trying to get seen, to let people know that this is here. And but I really do believe, I'm confident that together we're going to build something. When you look at, like, you know, Eric July, some $3 million,
right?
Jesus, $1 million in like a day. Now we understand it's a different thing. It's just like he's like a big YouTuber, right? And so that, you know, we can't all become big YouTubers,
right?
And the lesson sell $1 million worth of comic books.
Yeah, the lesson that Eric July is bringing is it's not that Okay, he has an audience, all right, and there are other YouTubers with audiences, and we all know these big YouTubers, comic book YouTubers, who have such a big audience that they can turn over $100, $200, $300,000 on a book, okay, and in some cases, deservedly so. It's all about the book. Eric July, the example that he gives is that he doesn't get his audience from the comic buying public, okay. Right. He had an audience because he was in music and he was in commentary and all other kinds of stuff. And he's reached out to he's outside of the pie. Okay. Right. He's reached outside of the pie, and that's where he's getting his audience in from. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. And something like, for instance, if you look at horror, if you look at, action adventure like Robert E. Howard, there are whole bundles of audiences out there who are not reading comics,
right?
Okay, but will come to your they'll come to your yard, okay, because the milk you're offering is sweet, okay. And it's in their wheelhouse, and that's what you got to do.
Key.
Not just going around in the same creator-only groups, going, "Look at my comic, isn't it great?" You've got to reach out to a bigger audience, to a wider audience, and that's what Eric July did. That's what he did.
Hey, bringing in
love him
readers.
or loathe him,
Yes.
And it sounds like, Razorfist had you on, right?
Yeah. I approached Razorfist because I knew that because
you know that he's a Robert E. Howard fan.
I know he's a Robert E. Howard fan. I love Razorfist. His wordmanship is fantastic. He makes me laugh. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Funny.
And
he's one of those people that even when I disagree with him, exactly. I'm still like, entertained.
He makes me giggle,
Yeah.
And I've been watching Razorfist for quite some time, I just happened to be, because I was listening to him talk about Ghost of the Badlands, which I missed, but fortunately he's going to send me a copy. Nice. And he was talking about Robert E. Howard, and I was like, oh, right, okay. And then I picked him up on another podcast where he was talking about Robert E. Howard, so I just approached him. I just said, look, we're doing this. I showed him some sample art, told him what we were trying to do, and asked if he would like to write a forward for us. And he jumped on it. He just said, no problem. That's awesome. And then he said...
Never hurts to ask.
Yeah, never hurts. So you never know.
All you got to do, man.
And he said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a podcast where I talk to Iron Age creators. And the first one he had on was the guy from Battletech or something. I think he'd been cancelled or whatever.
I can't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Because he's Razorfist big into video games as well. And so he had him on, and then he asked me to come on the second week. He's such a lovely guy. Razorfist is such a lovely guy. And we had a good chat beforehand and after. And it was really good. And I think it's probably chucked at least 50 backers on there. I would say.
That's fantastic.
It must have done. I don't think I've had that much crossover to Only Death Can Save Us, to be honest. Yeah. So I'm going to keep pushing. I'll put some more emails out this week on the way to the end. But I've created my own. Dude. Yeah, I've created my own email list now.
Nice.
I've had that running for a little while, and it's grown. It's not massive. It's just over 500, but it's growing all the time. It's growing, and that's what you have to do. You have to get your own audiences, and you have to grow those audiences and reach out. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah, I know. I wish there was less hustle involved and more making comics, but it is what it is.
Yeah, well, I just had to pay for MailChimp today because I went over the 500. I had to buy MailChimp. So it's like, okay, all right, fair enough. And it is, I've also got a PO box as well, because you have to have a valid address when you send out emails. It's a legality. Yeah. And that costs a pretty penny each year as well. So, but you have to invest, otherwise, where are you going to go? You've got to do something. You have to make it happen. It doesn't just turn up.
No,
it's the equivalent of waiting.
Basically, it's like gambling, but you're gambling on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You're betting on yourself. Yeah. So it's like waiting for an editor to turn up and say, "I've got some pages for you, Russ." It's like you're waiting around twiddling your thumbs. It isn't going to happen. You've got to make it happen. So you have to invest that money. And I'm investing in myself. I mean, I've told this to a few people when in 2010, when I decided to come back to illustration and do comic books, I was living elsewhere in a nicer, not nicer, I prefer the house I'm in now, but it was a much bigger house, let's put it that way. And my wife is incredibly supportive, and within a couple of years we decided to sell up. We sold up, we moved out, we moved further out into the countryside.
Nice.
And we got rid of the mortgage. Nice. And what that meant was that I could take chances. I could invest in myself, and that's effectively what we were doing. We were taking that mortgage out of the house and investing it in me and pushing forward. I'm forever grateful for that for her. But it made the difference. It meant that I could do it every day. Although at the start, in order to make money, I taught art, I taught karate, local schools and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome!
But
I didn't know you were a badass.
I got my 4th Dan last year, actually.
Damn! Yeah. Remind me not to mess with you.
I did anything I could do in order to bring money in, but at the same time, I got to draw every day, and it made a difference to the craft. You just have to invest in yourself, and that's why I mentioned earlier about younger people. It's so difficult for them. I had capital. I had personal capital. I had financial capital, and it meant I could take some chances. But being young and trying to get in, that's tough. It's really tough.
This is why it's like I always feel like those of us that have done the crowdfunding thing and been successful, semi-successful with it, we sort of have a moral obligation to kind of help the people that are just coming in, because it's like they don't know from Indiegogo, from Kickstarter, and then there's the old timers that should be doing this that aren't, because they don't know how to work like an iPhone or any of that shit, right? So
it's crazy, huh?
I know I couldn't do a lot of shit without having like millennial friends, right? To teach you how to do some of this stuff. Yeah. So it's just like, it's like, I feel like, it's, it'd be great if we could create a space where it's just very easy for them to come in. What up, Jason? Gentlemen, I do have to go and attack that lasagna. Russ, best wishes. Congratulations.
Thank you. Lovely to see you again.
And I can't wait to see it on my doorstep.
Good stuff.
Matt,
thank you.
Peace and love to you too.
Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Later, brother.
Wow. Well, that time went. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun.
Right. That was pretty quick, huh?
It's an hour and 45 minutes. Wow. That was great to see Brian, though. What a lovely fella.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy, man. Yeah. Well, shoot, man. Thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. It was fun picking your ear. I'd love for you to come back on whenever, actually.
Yeah.
I also do a Saturday show too, if you ever want to come by. That's more of a live show too. This one is more of like a creator, talking about their crafts and their campaigns.
Sure. Yeah. I would love to. Thank you very much for having me on. And best of luck with your latest book as well. You say issue 3, yeah?
Actually, I'm working on a new book. It's called Hell War, but that probably won't be out for another year or two. I'm about 50 pages done.
Cool.
Hopefully next year, but I kind of want to get it all done like you before I release it.
I think that's the
way
way
to
forward.
go at it. So
I think that's the way forward, because you keep people's interest. They don't forget about your book, and even though there's a gap in between the campaigns, it's only the same gap that would have happened anyway.
Yeah.
So and all that they remember is, I got my book really quick.
That's all I remember of you is like, yeah. I got the full book when the campaign launched, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like shortly after. Yeah. No.
So hopefully our book should be in people's hands before the end of May.
Oh wow, that's super. Yeah. That's super like lightning speed. You hear that, everybody?
It's ready to go to print as soon as the campaign ends. The campaign ends on the 13th/14th of this month, so it'll go to print. The next few days after that.
Dang, you hear that, everybody? I got the link pinned at the top of the chat. So
thank you.
Go back to Shadow Kingdom. I guarantee you're gonna love the book. It's gonna be action packed, full of adventure, just like any good Howard story. And remember, this is the first story that created the sword and sorcery genre.
It is, yeah.
It is very much so. And Russ, where can people find you at, brother?
You can find me at russleach.com. when you get there, please sign up for the email list. And all my social media connections are there, so you can get to my Comic Book Black Belt video YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all those kind of places. And swing by on a Friday morning or a Sunday morning for our shows. We do Comics by Night on a Friday and Sunday Funnies with Randy Zimmerman and the gang. And so check that out. But you can get everything at russleach.com.
Nice. All right. Thanks everybody. Go to russleach.com. Check it out. Check out the cool books, the cool
Thanks
shows.
for having me.
Thanks for coming on, brother. It was cool chatting with you for a bit. Thanks everybody. Always remember to be bold, be brave, and roll the bones to know your role. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.